Hello, I'm May from Fuchen Senior High School in Kaohsiung. I would like to really thank all my co-workers. With special thanks to our President Su, teacher Tina, JC, and my dearest Polish friend Margaret. I'm very grateful to every person who contributed to the curriculum design. Above all, I also want to thank Cool English for letting our students to be involved in your platform and the resources. As a teacher, it is often difficult to match our perfect theory with real world. What happens in our classroom is always full of excitement and sometimes chaos. Therefore, do you think a lesson plan is most like a photograph, a story, a roadmap, a written summary, or another? In fact, for me, it's all of the above. Before the lesson, plan logical sequence to achieve aims. Organize your materials and activities. Because classes shouldn't be random. We didn't have time just to throw things in. During the lesson, check if the lesson follows the sequence decided. This is called a double-check loop, which will identify any problems we need to fix. After the lesson, keep the plan as a record for making flexible changes. Even when you believe you have a perfect lesson plan, take time to get feedback from your students and other teachers. We need to stay flexible. I believe that there are 6 components of making a good lesson plan. Class profile. Who are we planning the lesson for? It deals with the real level of students' English, the size of class, and the educational aims. Timetable fit. Again, let's not be random with our ideas. Main aims. What do we want learners to learn? We need to know the goal, so we won't lose focus. Subsidiary aims is the teacher's responsibility to design tasks or activities that we have clear, useful purposes. Anticipated problem. What do we want learners to learn? Forewarned is forearmed. You don't want to find yourself in a situation where you don't know what to do with students' problems. And as for possible solutions, what actions will we take to deal with it? It is time to have imaginary situations before you go to class. For example, what if students don't have interests in class? What if students couldn't follow you and you need to spend extra time to keep up with them, with everyone? Okay, so above all, that's for the theory. But where is the real life? For this class, the reason why I chose the topic of asking for directions relies on students' needs in traveling. You know, everybody needs a traveling, especially for students, because they got so much pressure after they study. So, my theme is students, they all need a break. So we talk about how about traveling, and during the traveling, what if we got lost? So after we choose a useful theme, we look for subsidiary resources on the Cool English platform. The Cool English website has a variety of resources for different levels and skills. It is not only user-friendly, but also keeps the same paces as our textbook. You can find there a great number of videos, animations, tests, and others. In my lesson plan, I identify the useful language parts students have learned, and then I will know what I'm working with. So this is what they have already known. And then I pick up specific resources according to my students' level and needs. You could start with the vocabulary parts related to places and locations, like on, in, at, etc. As you see, this is a basic level to make sure students could be able to pick up appropriate prepositions. And you know, students love to do this online. For more advanced class, there are special resources as you can see in this text. You can supply your class with the listening, speaking, reading, and writing activities. And that is really cool. In core English, they have some tests so students can read stories and they can learn in accordance with their interests. Here is an example of the script for listening activity that is voiced and animated vividly. I'm pretty sure that your students might fall in love with it. A few days ago, before the class, I asked my students to draw and design a map of our campus. I used the real locations to make students practice the prepositions. For example, there is a KFC. It is just across from our school. So we make the sentences like KFC is across from our school. And you can see students, they can draw by themselves and they can discuss with students. They can cooperate with peers and then they can make their own map. And as you see, they can use be across from, between A and the B, next to, in front of, behind. And those are useful. Those are practical usages. And after they learn, they can use it in their conversation. That is really cool. Also, I prepared some useful sentence patterns to give students varieties to get familiar with the different ways to ask for directions. For example, excuse me, how do I get to blah, 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 please? Excuse me, can you tell me the way to blah, blah, blah? Walk straight and turn right on blah, blah, blah. There is a blah, blah, blah. You won't miss it. So the sentence pattern is very important because if students, they don't have any pattern in their mind and they don't know how to speak quality English. Okay, so this is before class. We have already collected the appropriate materials by ourselves. So you can see this is a map and the amusement park. Students love amusement park a lot. So they draw pirate ship, they draw many sports shops, ice cream stand, coffee cap shop. Yes, so this is what we done before class. Okay, and during the class, they practice the dialogue we using the map designed by themselves. Because the map is designed by themselves, they are very involved and they learn to cooperate, communicate, and express their own thoughts. Further, with the Cool English platforms, they could do the tests online, which is always more exciting than paper tests, even though it's exactly the same content. As you can see, they got their own map and they can discuss, they can express their ideas. So it looks like they are really enjoying the class. Above all, after the class, I ask my students what they like the most, and if they had any issues, they can share with us. For example, they told me if they didn't know how to say something in English, they didn't know what to do, so they just stand there. For this problem. After class, I would help them translate the words or phrases that they needed, and I will help them write them down on my lesson plan. Therefore, for my next course, this problem is solved and students will learn effectively and happily. Okay, so in conclusion, variety is the spice of life. So let's use it in our classroom. You will never know what happens in our real classroom. So frequent changes of different activities is necessary. In addition to language skills, I strongly believe that the skill to keep all the students involved is more important than learning the basic language skills. If they have confidence, if they learn it happily, and gradually they will learn those skills. And for the interaction patterns, some students, they are shy, but some students, they are confident. So teachers can pair them together. Okay, and in Taiwan, learning sheets is necessary because it can help students to check if they understood or not. And for the lesson plan, I think in the beginning, we could put a simple one as a framework and correct only serious errors because students sometimes they are just too shy to speak out. So to encourage them to use the language. So if they say something not so correct, that's okay, never mind. Okay, so what do you see? This is the popcorn. Yes, so what can we do with the popcorn? Yeah, when you go to the movies, it is a good try to buy some popcorn. So the reason why I put the popcorn here is there are many flavors and there are many kinds of food could be done from the popcorn. So this is just like what we teach in class. You will never know what you have, but you need to give it a try and you need to be positive and you need to be well prepared in advance. So last but not least, I strongly recommend that all of you give it a try to use the core English resources in class and see what happens. Just like the popcorn, you will never know what can come out. If you put more efforts, you will definitely get a good surprise. So let's join core English, and the more we think, the deeper it gets. And with a variety of core English resources, I believe that students will learn independent learning. They will learn how to discuss. They will learn how to express. Okay, and good luck to all of you, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.